The pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've had a late scratch from our Committee of the Whole agenda, so we have one item tonight, and I want to welcome Linda Marston-Reed to our meeting. Linda is the Executive Director of Arts Mid-Hudson, who, I don't know, 6 months ago? End of July, moved into the town of Poughkeepsie, so we're excited to have them, and Linda's here to tell us a little bit about Arts Mid-Hudson, what they do, and a special event that's coming up.
Yeah.
So welcome, Linda.
Thank you, and thanks, Todd, for inviting me. That was
Sure.
very gracious to reach out to me. So the Arts Mid-Hudson used to be called the Dutchess County Arts Council, for any of you that are not familiar with them. And they have been in existence for 50 years. And actually, this year, we're celebrating our 50th year anniversary. I have a slideshow. Oh, there it is. So now you'll have to crane your necks around, but...
No, actually,
Yeah, but
Oh, good. Excellent. Well, so I can briefly go over our 50-year history for anybody that's not used to what the Dutchess County Arts Council used to do. But they have a history, a long history, long before I ever came on the scene, of really trying to cultivate the arts and culture in our region. And Dutchess County was their region of focus. And so you can see there's a picture there, 1980s, a Poughkeepsie Savings. There's a Art in the Park back in the 70s. There's a Arlington Middle School, the lower left corner. A bunch of kids doing a mural and unveiling it. And then on the right side there is our One River Many Streams, which we've been doing now for 17 years. And that's a festival bringing together all kinds of different cultures that we have here in our area together to actually celebrate the different cultural differences and get people invested in learning more about each other. So here's where we are now. We're in Canterbury Plaza. We've changed our name to Arts Mid-Hudson. We're thrilled to be here. This has been a really terrific location for us to move into. It has about 2,000 square feet. We are an arts service organization, so we're here to make sure that the arts grow and prosper, artists can make a living, that artists don't move away, because I'm sure a lot of you have heard about how if there's a very vibrant arts culture, there's almost always great economic impact from that. And so, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. It's great for the economy, it's great for the town, and it's also great for the artists and arts organizations. You can see Mr. Tancredi was at our ribbon cutting. We were very excited to have
The guy with the full head of hair at the ribbon cutting.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a very exciting day, and a lot of people came out.
Was.
So here's what we do. And this was actually the whole reason that the Arts Council was founded back in 1964. It was to receive funding from New York State so they could give money out in a fair and equitable way to arts organizations, community organizations that were in Dutchess County. Well, over the years, the work really grew. I think in the late 80s, Dutchess County started what was called an arts fund, and then soon thereafter, Ulster County, which used to have an arts council, it did not survive, and we started doing work over in Ulster County as well. So, you know, what we do is we ask for proposals from arts organizations, community organizations around the area, and they send the proposals in. All the proposals are read by a panel of people who are pretty much experts, community members in arts and culture. So it gets a very good, equitable decision-making process and who gets the money. And then the money goes right back out into the community to do things like plays, experiential activities, such as up in the upper left corner you can see there's a young woman teaching people the Japanese calligraphy. There's some grantee awards, getting their check awards up there in the upper right. That's why everybody's got those big smiles on their faces. They have checks in there. So we focus on anything from making sure that arts education happens and that kids get that education in the public schools. A lot of the public schools haven't been able to stretch their art programs, so we actually give grants out to artists to go into the public schools and do projects. And that sometimes is the only program that some schools get. So we want to make sure that continues to happen. So essentially, because we're here in this area, we get the state money and we get money from Ulster and Dutchess County, and we re-grant it or send it back out into the community. So it's not a lot of money, but a lot of times what that money is used for is to help grassroots organizations do things in far-flung places that don't have a theater or a big arts presence. So you make sure that arts get spread fair and equitably across the area. One of the other things we do is arts advocacy and community engagement, and that's a word that everybody's been bandying around, but I can tell you what it is. It's kind of bringing down the walls. It's not the usual places where you would find art. So you can always go to a museum, you can go to a symphony in a symphony hall, but for community engagement, you got to go out to where the community is, and that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to get out there and make sure that people who don't normally or think art is not for them actually maybe come upon it by accident and then decide, oh, yeah, I like this, or my kids like this, or my grandmother really had a great time, when we brought her to the park and there were these artists there doing things. So that is a big part of what we're doing. You can see the upper left corner, there's a picture there. One of the things we started doing this year for our 50th anniversary is, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, we decided to start this campaign called 50 Locations in 50 Weeks. And what we're going out into the community once every week, and we're showing up somewhere by prearranged. We don't just show up on your desktop, but we show up and the people welcome us and we have a survey. And so that's been very interesting what we're learning from that survey. And I'm going to share that with everybody as we get further along. And this is a young volunteer here on the lower left corner. She volunteered to collect surveys at a chalk painting festival. So there's a lot of people out there playing on the street and drawing chalk on the ground, and she was getting surveys from them. Part of the community engagement that we have been learning is that there's a lot of youth that seem to be in danger of dropping out of school, and arts do seem to be a really terrific way of engaging with them. And one thing that we found in Poughkeepsie in particularly is there's a huge spoken word poetry team of youth that are going around and writing poetry, and spoken word poetry can be really beautiful. It's not the teachers that we employ and the people that we're working with have some very strict rules about the language that can be used and the respect that has to be given to everybody. And so it really has taken a lot of these young people that might have dropped out of high school or didn't even think about going to college, and suddenly they're writing all the time, and they're getting up and performing, and they're getting some positive feedback, and they're thinking, hey, I might take that class in English so I can improve, my writing skills. So these are all really positive things that come out of engaging with the arts. Another thing, you can see the artist with a big smile on her face down there. We've held a number of pop-up things like out in parks and other locations, and it's just a way of allowing an artist who makes work, whether it's photography, painting, pots, whatever, it gets them out there, it gets them out of their studio, it gets them the ability to meet people and maybe sell a few things. So again, it's helping the local economy. So speaking of the local economy, I'm really very excited about this. This is Dutchess Handmade is our new initiative, and it is a shop local initiative. So what we did over on our space is we have a gallery space up in the front. It's about 20 by 20, and it's amazing how much stuff you can pack into there. And we put a call out for local artists to we actually said, bring us your wares, and we had them list, what would you sell? Because we wanted to make sure there was a big variety of things. And we got just about, you won't find any electronics in there, but you will find things that artists have made by hand, whether it's a hand-milled pepper grinder made out of this beautiful wood, pottery, jewelry, paintings, glass. This lady brought in the other day these dog and cat pillows, and those are literally flying out of the shelves. It's very funny. So the terrific thing about this is, again, local artists who live here, own homes or pay taxes or vote or whatever, however you want to look at it, they're able to contribute to the economy, and the money that is spent by people here in Poughkeepsie is actually going right back into our economy again. So we're very, very proud of that, and I think I dropped off a card for all of you. I want to personally invite you to come on over and shop local. Our regular business hours are 9:30 to 5:30, and we're open from noon to 5 on Saturday. And Saturdays are usually staffed by the artists that have work in the shop.
And this is at the Canterbury Plaza on
Yeah.
Route 44.
Yeah, so we welcome you to come by. And
All
I
right.
really thank you again for letting me come in and talk to you about the arts.
Linda, I have a question. Would you be
Sure.
able to, if somebody stopped in at the location, would they be able to find out what kind of programs you're offering as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have, the best place to learn about where all of our programs is to go to our webpage, which is www.artsmidhudson.org. And you'll find out things about our grants programs. We have all of our folk arts programs, and on and on. There's artist opportunities there. Anything. And please, I left my business card there. Feel free to call me or email me anytime you think there might be an opportunity for us to get involved. We really do want to reach out to the community. A lot of the community groups we work with maybe never had some kind of art component going on, and suddenly when we plant that seed, they come back later and they go, well, we were thinking, would this work? One of the things we funded this past year was, it's called Art in the Market, but it was music out at the farmer's market in Millerton. So that, that's the kind of thing you can just kind of let your imagination go wild.
Where were you located? Was it at the Bear House? Or?
Where were we located
Yeah.
before? We were in the Cunin Hackett building
okay,
on
okay.
Main Street, which is, with the...
Were you always there, or where were you?
Before that, so we were there for 10 years, and before that, we were on Market Street in the city of Poughkeepsie,
Okay.
in one of those buildings that was up
yeah.
a bunch of stairs. One of the reasons we love this new location is it's really easy to find us. It's very easy to park.
Yes.
We have huge visibility when people driving up and down 44. Everybody that walks in goes, oh, it's so light and bright. We're so glad you're out of the basement. And we say, yes, we're glad we're out of the basement as well.
I want to chime in on what you said. You said you sort of cover Ulster and Dutchess.
Yes.
I know from us here, I want to thank you for keeping your bit. I don't know if you want to call it a business, but what you're doing, I appreciate keeping in the town of Poughkeepsie. It's very nice of you.
Thank you. And I will say this, there's several people that are very angry that we moved out of the city. And I'll just be very frank, there was a lot of, there was so many problems with people having fear to go downtown, and that's where we were. And there's a lot of work that has to be done, and we are actually working on Main Street Poughkeepsie in this initiative we call Queen City Saturdays, Queen City Arts. So we do a lot of festivals around that, a lot of music, pop-up art galleries in the many, many empty buildings, as well as the empty storefronts. So we're very committed to making Poughkeepsie a better place, whether it's the city or the town.
I have a question for you along the lines of kind of partnering with other organizations. I'm involved with a local community center in the town of Poughkeepsie over in the Crown Heights neighborhood. And one of the things that we've been looking for is groups to come in and use the space. We've renovated it. We've raised close to $50,000 and put the building back into good shape. And, you know, we want it to be a real community center where people come in off the street and have activities available to them at no cost or very low cost. So we've been looking for opportunities. One of the things that had come up in discussions with some of the members of the board of the Crown Heights Clubhouse was to have some sort of art group come in and either do some sort of crafts or with kids or seniors, or do some painting things. And you know, we have the building available for rental for people when they have, you know, birthday parties, anniversaries, and things like that. But we want it to be the community center where you walk in off the street, you can do something that's fun and either free or inexpensive. So
That sounds like that could be a very good partnership. One of the things that we do is we work with a lot of, and actually in Dutchess County, there is approximately 50% of all groups that are doing really amazing things, but they're volunteer-led groups. So maybe you and I could talk about some possibilities.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I might be able to match you up with somebody that is desperately looking for an opportunity like that and would be so grateful.
yes,
Yeah.
good.
Is there anybody that does anything like if a new business or something like that wanted artwork to be hung? Is there somebody there that can deal with the artist and maybe to put it, you know, do different?
Actually, that's something I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I wear many hats, and that's part of what we, like, for instance, we hang pictures up in Dee Dee Barrett's office,
Right.
and she wanted to have changing exhibits, so every 2 months, we go in there and we switch out the exhibits.
Is there a fee with that? It's
No.
just to, because my husband's company is opening a new office in the town, and I think there's a lot of big walls, and
Yeah.
it costs me a fortune to put my stuff there.
It's one of the things that, you know, the artists are very grateful to be able to get their work out there. And a lot of times it's the first time they've ever exhibited their artwork. It's still beautiful artwork. And, you know, we've actually sold stuff. So it's, you know, we also put pieces in a lot of the restaurants in town, such as Artist Palette, the Millhouse Brewery, a lot of different
So you would be the
places.
person to contact for
Yeah,
that?
just give me a call.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah, email, give me a call.
And we also, I think I've mentioned to you previously, Linda, we have a senior center in town, so if there's any programs or, you know, it can be something brand new that you want to try, because our senior center is relatively new, it's a year old, but we're trying to increase the programming we have available for the seniors. So if you have an idea that you think, you know, might be fun or interesting for a senior group, you know, let's talk about that. Maybe whether it be
Absolutely.
crafts or watercolors or,
Yeah.
you know, something like that. I think it would be a big hit with our seniors.
Did they ever get transportation out of, or, you know, away from the center?
Sure.
Because it might be great to be able to share some of the calendar items. A lot of
Yeah.
the things that we're planning for the next year in the space are, for instance, on Monday night, we had a literary reading, and it was all about World War I, and we had a guy playing World War I songs. It was,
wow.
it was great.
I bet
We
they
had
liked
about,
that.
yeah, and it was free. You
Yeah.
know, so we do try to do a lot of free things, but yeah, we'll definitely
Great.
put that, and maybe I'll contact you about that person.
Yeah, do that. And you know, the amazing thing about our seniors, when I used to think about seniors, I thought of people we need to, you know, transport from one spot to another. But our seniors today, I mean, they're extremely mobile.
Yeah.
So if you have an event, and it's something of interest to them, like what you just mentioned, you likely get many of them driving to the location to
Yeah.
take part.
Yeah, and that, again, the location is so terrific because it's easy to park. There's a lot of
Yeah.
handicap parking in the front of the space that, in case people can't walk very far. But yeah, I would love to connect with more seniors because a lot of times if they're retired, they might be able to volunteer. And our
Yeah.
volunteer duty is very light. It's sitting in a beautiful space and saying hello to people when they come in and, you know, maybe,
Sure.
you know, whatever, however far they want to take it. But, yeah, a lot of good opportunities. Again, it's all about, I think, connecting with the community. So thank you again very
you.
much for
Thank
having
you
me.
for being here. We're glad you're in
Yeah.
town. All right, let's go on to committee reports. Finance,
We're done with our committee.
yeah,
Nothing to
for
report.
another year anyway.
Yep.
Fire advisory,
I have nothing.
government ops,
Nothing to report.
land use and planning,
Nothing to report.
personnel,
Nothing to report.
recreation, Jay's not here,
Got a
but,
meeting committee meeting next week, so nothing to report.
okay. Senior citizens, about the same.
Nothing to report, yeah.
Moving forward and having a good time. Technology and equipment
Nothing to report.
and infrastructure.
We did meet, and some of the reports are in progress. I go through life figuring out jobs that I don't ever want to have. Highway attendant is now on that list. God bless him. Mark does a hell of a job, has no life. That's all I have to report.
All right. That brings us to the end of our lengthy agenda. Anything from any town board members?
Resolution,
Okay.
executive session. Should I read it now?
No, not if it's executive session. I don't
No,
know
this is
what
the
it
resolution
is.
to have it.
Aren't we going to open up for public comment?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Do we have an executive session then?
Yes, we do. I'm holding it in my hand.
All right. Very brief. Oh, all right. All right,
I'd make
public,
Okay, I'd make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody that'd like to address the board? Doreen, Bob, or
Mr. Bills.
Mr. Pels? Nobody.
Make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Carlos, it's all yours.
Okay. Resolution. Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following matter, to wit, litigation, to discuss the litigation strategy of the case known as Tilcon, confidential communications between the attorney and his client, the town board, based on attorney-client privilege, and be it further resolved, there will be no action appropriating money. So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town board adjourns to executive session at 8:23 PM.